Hi folks, everything new under the sun. Trucker convoy, do you all remember it? And this is a video more for Canadians probably, but also for everybody else. Also, we think of the German farmers and all the other people that are joining their protests over the diesel subsidies and all that. This very well could happen to you. So the federal government in Canada invoked the Emergencies Act, and they took away a huge amount of freedoms of the Canadians who were peacefully protesting in Ottawa. I'm not commenting on the bridge protests. Those were completely separate. But the protests in Ottawa, which was forcefully removed, and they invoked the Emergency Act, which led to the freezing of bank accounts, intelligence and spying on people, shutting down people's businesses and threatening them, and a harsh crackdown by RCMP and all sorts of police officers. And there's no trust in police officers anymore after that, unfortunately. But the freezing of bank accounts was a game changer, incredible, and our freedoms were removed. Come to find out, this is ctvnews.ca, and unfortunately I can't even post this link on Facebook because of what the Canadian government, Trudeau, has done in terms of requiring social media outlets to pay for news linking on their websites. What the social media places did, Facebook and such, said, well, we're not going to allow anybody to post news links anymore. So I can't even, I can't even copy paste this news link on my Facebook page to have other people go read it. And so I have to take a screenshot of it. It's incredible. The laws in Canada are insane, and the Trudeau government has really stripped and did the citizens of Canada a disservice. But a federal court rules Emergencies Act was not justified. So this Mosley guy, this particular guy, he was, I don't know what you call it, the judge mediator during the original review of the Emergencies Act. And at that time, I think he was probably under pressure, coercion, whatever it may be, to rule in favor of government. And he did at that time. But now that he's had time to think about it, he realizes, oh, that's not the case. The government overstepped their bounds. So the federal court says government's use of Emergencies Act to shut down so-called freedom protests in Ottawa 2 years ago was not justified. Representatives of both Canadian Constitution Foundation, which I support with actual money, I've sent them money, and the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, the two groups who brought the case to the federal court, posted about the ruling on X, formerly known as Twitter. The protests gridlocked downtown Ottawa for 3 weeks and blockaded some key border crossings, and it was about the opposition to the COVID-19 lockdowns, mandates, and that sort of thing, which did ruin the livelihoods of many people, put people in hard places to make hard decisions in terms of whether to get the jab or not get the jab. And in a lot of cases, their job literally was on the line. It's so frustrating, to be honest. I did not take it. Come to find out, excess deaths, that is a real thing. There is real discussion going on in the UK about this, and the forced vaccination of children, or the coerced vaccination of children, and middle-aged men who had higher chances of myocarditis and all these things from this. It's a crime against humanity, in my opinion. And a judge has found out that the crackdown, this Emergencies Act, was the government should not have done it. He says, I have concluded that the decision to issue the proclamation does not bear the hallmarks of reasonableness, justification, transparency, and intelligibility, and was not justified. And was not justified in relation to the relevant and legal constraints that were required to be taken into consideration, stated the federal court justice Richard Mosley. Again, he was the one that oversaw the original review, which the government has to do, but that was certainly. I feel like he was pressured by the Liberals, really, and I believe he's a Liberal himself, but I believe he was basically coerced, pressured into it. Mosley added that there can only be one reasonable interpretation of the Emergencies Act and CSIS Act, and that he believes the legal constraints on the discretion of the GIC to declare a public emergency order of a public emergency were not satisfied. The case was not about the constitutionality of the Emergencies Act, but rather how it was applied in this instance. I will agree. The Emergencies Act itself may be legal. It may be useful in cases. But this was not the case. This was not civil unrest. This was not civil unrest. This was not an existential threat to the Canadian government by any stretch. Remember, the Emergencies Act is the new version of basically the War Act. And they implemented it because Trudeau didn't like it. It made him look bad, and he thought all the deplorables were terrible people. I think we're going to vote him out this next election, but we'll see. And it says, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland said the federal government plans to appeal the decision. So I'm glad that Mosley finally came around after going over the first review and saying that it was, a valid thing that the government did. I'm glad he came out later. This is CTV News, by the way. This is mainstream media news here. This is a leftist publication, not right or conservative by any stretch. And there you go, breaking news. It was not justified. Will they? I can't even post this on Facebook. Will this be on the CBC National News? Will it start a conversation? I don't know. I think a lot of people, and I've heard this before, a lot of people say, well, let's not think about what happened back then. It doesn't matter now anyways. And my response to that is, yes, it does. If we don't act on this now, this will be repeated in the future. Your freedoms will be curtailed. Some people don't care about their freedoms. Some people don't care about the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But you know what? That's why you appreciate living in this country, because you do have the ability to choose what you do and do not do. And in this case, a lot of freedoms were just trampled on. And this is just one thing that the Trudeau government has done. Incredible destruction to civil liberties in Canada. And if we don't address this, this is bad for our country. And honestly, a lot of people couldn't care less. They just want to forget about it because it was depressing to them, whatever it may be. This is not a time to forget the past. This is a time to act on it. And hopefully Pierre Poilievre will continue on and address this. I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.